at time of recording, Sneasler is the dominant Pokemon in Regulation H. It is the most used Pokemon in recent tournaments. It just recently won 2 regionals in a row. People are engineering all kinds of niche Pokemon to counter it. And of course, at the center of all of that is the very controversial move Dire Claw, with a 50% chance of inflicting random status condition on the opponent, greater than 50 if you also run it with Poison Touch. So Sneasler is getting a lot of attention for good reason. I personally think it's a fun Pokemon with a silly design, so I'm not complaining too much. But Dire Claw's variance, of course, is generating a lot of discourse. In any case, it's a huge part of the meta that any team has to take into account. But of course, there's an older Sneasel of evolution that has been a Pokemon that I've liked for a long time. It's Weavile is one of those Pokemon where, you know, if I'm listing my very favorite Pokemon, I'm probably not going to mention it, but I'd still say that it has been one of my favorites for many years now. It just has an awesome design. Look at this thing, and the attack and speed stats to back it up. It's the kind of Pokemon that you feel like you can do a lot of work with, but really you have to be kind of deliberate about how you use it in the meta, given that it does have limitations like its frailty and limits to how good some of its moves are. So, with the Lille Regional Championship having recently finished, again at time of recording, I went looking for Weavile teams to see if people were using Sneasler's cousin and what they were doing with it. And this team by Jamie Boyd was the best placing Weavile team. It made day 2, I believe, and it certainly got my attention. I think Weavile makes decent sense on a rain team, being able to pressure some of the checks that Pelipper and Archaludon might otherwise have trouble dealing with. So I think that Weavile's offensive output with Knockoff, Ice Spinner, and Fake Out can certainly make it easier for Archaludon to set up, for Pelipper to get a Tailwind up and do some damage with this Life Orb set. All kinds of benefits to pairing those with Weavile, I think, in terms of an offensive mode. But Weavile's Fake Out Pressure can also help Annihilate set up. It can help Azumarill set up with Belly Drum. It can help this Combine Sinistcha here. Just a ton of setup options on this team. And we see Weavile also running the Beat Up to give Annihilate its Rage Fist boost. So a lot of interesting offensive synergy that really makes use of what Weavile brings to the table. I also like the Focus Sash set with the ability Pickpocket. So if Weavile's Focus Sash is consumed and it no longer has an item, then depending on how the opponent finishes it off, it has a chance to steal their item, which could be very disruptive in some situations. And then, yeah, the Combine Sinistcha I also find very interesting. I usually run a lot of recovery options on Sinistcha, but Matcha Gotcha boosted by Meadow Plate hitting both opponents after a Combine boost should help Sinistcha to stay healthy as well. So in the right matchup, I feel like this could sit on the field for a while and wear down the opponent's team. But you also have flat-out offense with stuff like Pelipper, Azumarill, Weavile, and some bulky modes to fall back on. A lot of interesting layers to this team, and like I said, I really think it's going to make use of Weavile's talents, so I've decided to bring it into my team builder and try it out. I don't have Jamie Boyd's EVs. I threw together some EV spreads myself. They will, of course, be less calculated than what he actually used in the regional, but we're going to give it a go, and just for good measure, let's make Weavile shiny, because, I mean, look at that. How can we lose with that Pokemon? Right. So, let's hop on the ladder and see what we can do. I think Weavile or Archaludon could be an interesting pairing for sure. Okay, first opponent has Blood Moon Ursaluna with Porygon 2, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Dragapult, and Sneasler. So Weavile versus Sneasler right off the bat. Weavile, perhaps not as tall and successful as its cousin there, but eager to show what it brings to the table. Immediately, I don't know how I play into this matchup, though. I kind of like trying to set Sinistcha up. The Dark Terra, Combine into their slow threats. Before Terra, it's immune to Spore. Incineroar is a problem. Actually, there are a lot of problems. I could try setting up Annihilate with the safety goggles. Oh, yeah, I like that here, actually. Let's lead Weavile Annihilate. Let's bring Weavile in the lead spot right off the bat. Try to set up all of Annihilate's boosts. Sinistcha to help Annihilate stay healthy with the Hospitality, and then what does that leave me in the last slot? I could bring Pelipper. Outside of Trick Room, at least it threatens good damage into a lot of these Pokemon. I don't like Archaludon as much without rain support, but it's not necessarily bad either. But I'm going to try Pelipper. Alright, so we see Dragapult, Sneasler lead. That is, I think, going to pressure Weavile off the field. Although, not necessarily. I could commit the Terra Ghost. It is faster than Sneasler, too, so I could fake out Sneasler this turn and just go for a bulk up with Annihilate. That is interesting that Weavile has higher max speed than Sneasler. I actually don't think I knew that. Of course, Sneasler does get Unburdened, but we haven't seen it on this one. Dragapult went for Phantom Force, so that'll be targeting Annihilate, I would think. So let's beat up Annihilate, Terrafire, Rage Fist into Dragapult when it appears again. Okay, don't like critting my... Oh, I really don't like critting my own Annihilate twice there. Weavile may be looking a little too eager, as Annihilate will just go down. Okay, so downside to Weavile, the attack stat is maybe a little high for those beat-up plays. That probably just loses the game, but let's see if there's anything we can do here. I guess I'll go for... Well, the Dragapult's probably locked into Phantom Force, so I probably can't attack it this turn. So let's just double into the Sneasler, I guess. Or actually, I'll set Tailwind. The problem with setting Tailwind is now the Dragapult will get its attack off before I can do anything to it, right? I guess I'll knock off this Porygon 2's Eviolite. And I can't protect around Phantom Force, of course, so I'll just go for a Weather Ball into Porygon 2. Yeah, I think Dragapult will... Oh my god. I didn't know Pickpocket worked instantly like that. Yeah, unfortunately, I did kind of give Dragapult some favorable speed control there. That said, how much you want to bet that Sinistcha still goes after Dragapult? That said, what does Sinistcha do here? I would protect Weavile if I had that move, but I don't. I'll just knock off into the Dragapult slot and... Shadow Ball will actually probably connect with the Dragapult. Yeah, Porygon 2 is not one-shotting Sinistcha. Dragapult almost goes down there. Oh, but I didn't think that all the way through. I should have KO'd Porygon 2 with the Weavile. I changed my plan mid-turn and didn't fully adjust. Sinistcha's gonna go down here. I don't think there's anything I can do to stop that. Yeah, I should have KO'd Porygon 2. Oh, but Sinistcha will get an attack off before it's KO'd, so I can still get the Porygon 2 with Machagacha here. So at least there's that, and then hope that Weavile wins. Although Weavile's Sash is broken, and my opponent still has Trick Room up, so Weavile I think is just going to lose to whatever they have in the back. They're taking their time, though, for, I assume, being able to just win with this. Nothing to do but click Ice Spinner and get KO'd by Blood Moon. Okay. Well, not an ideal start, but hey, first game with this team. See what we can do from there. As we see a Sudowoodo, a Heracross, and a Slowking. That's certainly something I've not seen on the ladder before. Tail Room team, too. Although, I kind of see the room part more than the tail part. But I feel like just leading Pelipper and Archaludon puts a ton of pressure on this team right off the bat. I can bring Sinistcha to help deal with the Heracross, and let's just bring Weavile because it's the Weavile video. Actually, Annihilate is probably better here. Actually, Annihilate, they have two Psychic types that both can hit reasonably hard. Well, doesn't matter. I'm out of time to reconsider now. Looks like they are going to lead with their Tailwind mode. They can put one of my Pokemon to sleep, but I'll just go for my own Tailwind to potentially help the Weavile in the back. Oh, they also could have Sunny Day on Murkrow. I didn't think of that. which makes me not want to click Electro Shot. But, you know, I'm just going to go for Hurricane into Venusaur, and I'll make them prove it. Click the Electro Shot anyways. We do see the sunny day. Assault Vest or Chaladon will take 2 of those Earth powers if it has to. We also still connect the Hurricane, so it doesn't have to. And then this Electro Shot is going into the Murkrow slot next turn. We see Slowking. I don't think that's a threat to KO or Chaladon right now, so I think we're still getting that Electro Shot. But I'll just switch to Sinistcha here. That'll give our Chaladon some healing, and also give me a chance to set the rain back up by bringing Pelipper back in. And Murkrow has to switch out, or protect, or take this Electro Shot. Fire Slowking, interesting. Murkrow does just get KO'd there. Fire Blast. Slowking just rips a Fire Blast into our Chaladon, and it burns, so that kind of works out nicely for them. Well, the good news is Slowking is slow. I could just try to set up with Sinistcha here. I could just like Terra Dark, Calm Mind, and just go for a Flash Cannon into Sudowoodo. That protects. Okay. Can't say I have any idea what Sudowoodo is going to do. But, okay, they get their Trick Room up, but I mean, I'm looking to grind this end game out with Sinistcha at this point. I'll click Matcha Gotcha here in case the Sudowoodo has a trick up its sleeve. And I feel like our Chaladon is not useful in this game if I switch it out, so I'm probably sacking it here, although they could miss a Fire Blast, but let's try again to get that Flash Cannon into Sudowoodo. They actually go for Muddy Water, and they connect with our Chaladon, but it does not do much into the Assault Vest Special Bulk resistance in the sun. They kind of nerfed their own Sudowoodo there. Matcha Gotcha, or their own Slowking. Matcha Gotcha knocks Sudowoodo down. Oh my god! Matcha Gotcha knocks Sudowoodo down to Sturdy. Gives some good recovery to Sinistcha. We see the weakness policy on the Sudowoodo, but the double up with the Flash Cannon does KO it, so good thing I clicked that. And we should be able to just beat Slowking from here. I think our Chaladon will go down this turn. Actually, they do miss a Fire Blast now, so it won't. But that Shadow Ball is not a 2-hit KO through the Citrus Berry, but now it'll KO after our Chaladon lands the Dragon Pulse. And yeah, we just win the game with Sinistcha from here. Taking that Fire Blast reasonably well after turning off its fire weakness. And hey, a 4-0. Don't see too many of those on this channel. Okay, now we've got some serious Sun offense here. Charizard, Venusaur, Torkoal, Whimsicott, and then also possible Trick Room Bear stuff. They probably have Sunny Day on the Whimsicott so that they have more than one option to turn off my rain. Of course, Torkoal will also win Weather Battle in the lead spot because it's slower than Pelipper. But I do probably want to bring rain into this. I can lead like our Chaladon, Terra Electric, so it's always weak to Earth Power. But I can redirect Earth Power with Sinistcha. I can lead like our Chaladon, TBD, bring Pelipper in the back, bring Sinistcha to the game. I don't know if it leads or not. Is Weavile the missing piece here? Honestly, Weavile's not that bad into like a Furrygraph or Ursaluna lead. So sure, I'll lead our Chaladon, Weavile, and bring Pelipper and Sinistcha in the back. Okay, we see Whimsicott, Ursaluna. Interesting. They probably won't KO Weavile this turn. I think they'll probably set Tailwind and attack with Ursaluna. Which means I think our Chaladon will take its attack. I can go for what I hope is a boosted Body Press into Ursaluna and double into it with Knockoff. I just realized Weavile can also, I mean, this is a familiar attack. I just didn't think of it before. Weavile can also set up our Chaladon's stamina with the beat up. And that might actually be more effective than all the damage it was doing to my own Annihilate. Granted, it crit my Annihilate twice in that first game, which is wild, but Yeah, that might have been the more valuable play here, as we do miss the KO on Ursaluna. I think I should probably switch Weavile out. There's nothing that it accomplishes here, but I might want it in the endgame. I bring Sinistcha in. That feels a little early, but it's not the worst idea. And still try to get that KO on the Ursaluna. Okay. It protects. Probably should have read that. Although, I don't know that I necessarily wanted to attack the Whimsicott this turn. I do feel like I'm going to lose a Pokemon, though, here, one way or another. I could bring Pelipper in now. Go for the Electro Shot. Spread the damage around on my team. Oh, and now I'll get the Electro Shot into Charizard. If they use Sunny Day here, then I'm in trouble. But they don't. And they don't get the Moonblast drop. So it'll be +1 Electro Shot, KOing Charizard. That went pretty well, that turn. Tailwind is almost up. They get Torkoal here. I actually can just fire Weather Ball into Whimsicott. And if I'm going to do that, I should probably attack Torkoal to nerf its Eruption. So if the Whimsicott has a Sash, it'll survive this, but it doesn't. Nice. Love when Weather Ball turns into an unexpected type, but it's still useful. I mean, I shouldn't say unexpected. I'm sure that's, you know, that's something people account for when they build these teams, but a type other than the one that I'm generally playing toward, but still really comes through there. And they get the Ursaluna back, but now they don't have Tailwind, and there's no Trick Room Setter. So I think I can pretty safely just Dragon Pulse Torkoal and Weather Ball Ursaluna. Yep. That'll finish things off. So the Weavile didn't do a ton that game, although it did get some chip on Ursaluna, and knocked off a silk scarf. So that made it a little easier for our Childon to withstand the offensive pressure. All in all, not bad. Okay, we get Porygon 2 Trick Room stuff here. They have Tyranitar, so this could also involve a fight over weather control. I do have a couple of Spore immunities in Annihilate and Sinistcha, so that's nice. Both of them are pressured by Gholdengo. Doesn't feel like a great Archaludon game. I do kind of like Weavile to pressure pretty much anything they lead with. I mean, I can go for a knockoff into Porygon 2 or Gholdengo or Ursaluna even. I have the Terra Ghost to get around Fake Out. I can go for Ice Spinner into Amoonguss if I want. I think Weavile puts out a lot of pressure as a lead here. Part of me doesn't hate Belly Drum, Aqua Jet, Azumarill, but into the Amoonguss, part of me does kind of hate it too. Tyranitar. Annihilate is pretty strong into most of these Pokemon though. I don't think I'm going to side beat up this game, but we are going to run that lead back. I'll bring Pelipper. And I don't really like Archaludon here. Azumarill is actually not that bad here. It's just the Amoonguss that gives it pause. But it might be more useful than Sinistcha. So, I haven't brought Azumarill to a game yet. Let's try it. Okay, we see Gholdengo and Porygon 2 in the lead, so I will want to knock off one of those. And I think we'll make it Porygon 2. See what I can do with a Drain Punch follow-up. Terra Fighting, so it'll take the knockoff very well. It does lose its Eviolite, but it'll get its Trick Room here. Or just Terra Blast straight into Weavile. Well, that means no Trick Room, though. I think I'll knock off Gholdengo, too. I am allowing Trick Room at this point, but... And I'll Terra Fire Annihilate to take Gholdengo's attacks better, and... If they give me a Rage Fist boost, I'll make use of it. I would like to remove the Porygon 2, but the Gholdengo is just so dangerous after that nasty plot. why I'm focusing on it now. But plays into their hands. They protect. Are they going to get their Trick Room here? Nope. Just another Terra Blast. Okay, so they remove Weavile. That allows me Pelipper. I think I like Pelipper here because the Rain boost will give it sort of more immediate pressure to Gholdengo. That said, if I click Weather Ball, they can switch in Tyranitar and turn that into a Rock-type attack. But, you know what? I'll risk it. They just Shadow Ball Annihilate. It does a lot of damage, but it will give me a Rage Fist boost, which I actually don't even need to KO the Gholdengo. Does some good damage to Porygon 2, though. Terra Blast will finish Annihilate off. They still never set Trick Room, so hopefully I can win this with Pelipper and Azumarill, but my opponent playing more aggressively than I expected has definitely set me back. And of course I can't use the Terra Ghost on Azumarill here, so I think what I have to do is just double target Porygon 2. In this case, Weather Ball is actually beneficial in case they switch Tyranitar in, because it'll do more to Tyranitar than Hurricane, and it won't have the chance to miss. But yeah, I'll double target Porygon 2. I assume they're going to flinch one of my Pokemon, but I'm not going to try to guess which one. Okay, it's Pelipper. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate that I didn't click Hurricane there, because we see... Well, I guess it didn't matter with Pelipper flinching. We see the Amoonguss. I'll Hurricane Pelipper here. So they don't have Tyranitar, that's good to know. If they switch Porygon 2 into this slot, then it'll get KO'd. I'm just going to protect Azumarill. Because I would really like to remove Amoonguss before it can mess with Azumarill. We actually get the one-shot on Amoonguss, I just wasn't taking that for granted that turn. Unfortunately, Incineroar KOs Pelipper back, and so now Azumarill is in a 1v2. It might actually be winnable, though. We'll try to take the KO on Porygon 2 here, and take a resisted attack from Incineroar. Okay, they Parting Shot. Don't love to see that, but it is at least not much damage on Azumarill. Do I Belly Drum here and then +6 Aqua Jet next turn? I don't know if that's the right play, but I think it might be, and it's definitely a fun and cool play. Oh no, okay, definitely not the right play. Because they take away my Citrus Berry and I don't get the Belly Drum off, and I wasn't accounting for that being the last turn of Rain. So I think I just threw, but it would have been cool if it worked, right? It would have been cool if it worked. Also, I actually think I needed that play to work to win the game, because the Aqua Jet's just not doing enough. Could always crit, but it doesn't. Okay. Well, they got me in the early game by playing more aggressively than I expected. Plus, I was covering for a Tyranitar that they didn't bring. But yeah, if only that Belly Drum play had worked, that would have been very funny. Okay, we got a Tinkaton here. A lot of cool Pokemon today. Unfortunately, Tinkaton kind of just hard counters Weavile, doesn't it? Honestly, my best play might be side beat up into... The best thing I can do with Weavile, I should say, might just be side beat up into Archaludon. And I actually think that's not bad in this matchup. I do have to be alert to the Hydreigon and the Ursaluna, but the cool thing there is Weavile offensively pressures them if they lead. So I have a bit of flexibility there in how I play this. Bring Pelipper for Rain and bring Sinistcha to keep Archaludon healthy. Well, somewhat. It's, okay, Gyarados, Flamigo in the lead. 2 physical attackers. Slower than Weavile, probably, unless it's Scarf Flamigo. I feel pretty safe here to just side beat up. And it's actually a benefit then that Weavile has been intimidated, considering how much damage the beat up was doing to Annihilate. And I kind of want a Terra Electric. It weakens me a little bit in the end game, but actually not that much, because the biggest threat is Ursaluna, and that's true before and after Terra. It does make Archaludon a bit weaker to the Rillaboom, but if I get a bunch of defense boosts here, I think it's okay. But we're not going to click Electro Shot. We're going to click Dragon Pulse into Flamigo. We can start clicking Electro Shot next turn. Terra Ghost Flamigo, I could have just knocked that off, but I think getting Archaludon set up here is actually going to be very valuable. This Tailwind. Oh, Earthquake Gyarados, okay. But yeah, with all the defense boosts on our Chaladon, that's not doing too much, even through the weakness. I would like to get Pelipper in. That said, with this Ursaluna here in Tailwind, it might be more valuable to get Sinistcha in here. Give our Chaladon a chance to take a hit and throw off a body press into Ursaluna. I think I like that. And I can save Weavile for when the opponent's Tailwind is gone. Ursaluna protects. But our Chaladon is, yeah, it's still taking the Earthquake pretty well. Actually, one problem here is our Chaladon has turned off its normal resistance. So if I can Rage Powder an Earth Power away from it, but I'm going to do it anyway. If they go Hyper Voice, that'll do more damage than it would otherwise. We see Gyarados switch out to Hydreigon. I was also thinking about clicking Matcha Gotcha for the chance to burn Gyarados, but I'm glad I didn't, the way that turn worked out. Gyarados back in, last turn of Tailwind. Our Chaladon is now at +6 defense, but the Hydreigon is obviously a threat. However, I can Rage Powder again and Body Press into Hydreigon. And hopefully that'll make for a clean endgame against the Gyarados, which will be out of Tailwind by that point, so pressured offensively by also my Weavile and Pelipper in the back. Oh, we actually redirect an Earth Power. It still KOs Sinistcha. Sinistcha was very low, but the normal Terra Blast is not doing much to our Chaladon. Hydreigon drops to the +6 Body Press, Tailwind ends, and I mean, let's give Weavile a chance to win this. Honestly, I'm gonna Fake Out and Electro Shot. It'd be funny if I get the Electro Shot off. This will give our Chaladon time to charge up, and then let's just knock off and finish the attack. Oh, the knockoff almost KOs. Choice banned Gyarados. The totally unnecessary Electro Shot crit closes out the game. Choice banned Gyarados throwing Earthquakes around, and once I got our Chaladon set up, not doing too much damage. Okay, now we see a Mouse Ape team with Incineroar, Dragonite, Goldango, Murkrow. Oh yeah, that's everyone. They can do Tailwind stuff. They can set up their Annihilate, which is a problem. I can lead like Pelipper, Weavile and try to just blow up. Try to like flinch Mousehold and just blow up Annihilate. There are potentially ways that could be prepared for that, but might as well give it a go. And then let's bring a Azumarill and our Chaladon to this one and try to keep the pressure up in the middle to late game. Okay, we do actually see Mousehold and Annihilate lead, so I guess I'll go for the play that I said, which is knock off into Mousehold. Do I want Terra Stellar here? I don't know the calc or anything. Life Orb Pelipper into Annihilate. Let's just play it. I don't know if this is playing it safe because I'm committing my Terra very early on a dubious call, but yeah, I'd like to KO the Annihilate if I can. So we'll just go right for the Stellar Terra. Whoa! Red card Mousehold. Forcing our Chaladon in there. It takes a decent amount from unboosted Drain Punch. Does get the stamina boost, and the Hurricane does KO what's it called? Annihilate. And you know what? Hard to say the Stellar Terra wasn't worth it when they just forfeit after that. So that's a solid Weavile game right there. Weavile not on the field for very long. The opponent made sure of that, but it still put in work. Okay, we got Trick Room stuff, but also there's a Blaziken. Trick Room, Psy Spam. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it's Weak Armor, Weakness Policy Armarouge on this team. So they have some fast modes too. How do I beat Trick Room with this? I could lead Weavile. They can't Expanding Force it. It'll take 2 attacks to KO it because of the Focus Sash. I can get a knockoff into something potentially. I can lead that with our Chaladon. If I see a physical attacker lead, I can side beat up, but more likely I just knock off something and play tanky games with our Chaladon and then bring Pelipper and Sinistcha to try to keep our Chaladon going through the game. I don't know if it's the best mode, but I don't think I see anything better on this team. We see Indeedee and Blaziken lead. Blaziken is troublesome, for sure. Go for the knockoff into Indeedee. And do I want to Terra Electric here? I think I probably don't, at least not yet. Steel typing could come in handy against some of the other parts of this team, so I'll just go for a Dragon Pulse into Blaziken. They might protect anyway to get their speed boost, although actually with the Follow Me play, I don't think they will. We will, okay, we will KO Indeedee here, but we can forget about any ideas of playing a tanky game with our Chaladon. Weavile Sash is intact though, and our Chaladon will need another hit to go down, so it can still be a little bit tanky and help me get a favorable position. Okay, there's the mouse hold. Yeah, so our Chaladon is just going to get KO'd, but I think probably I do want to just sack it here. I could switch to Sinistcha and preserve our Chaladon to sacrifice later, but I don't know what the line is from there. I don't think it's worth it. Let's just go for the knockoff. Actually, let's go for Ice Spinner into Mouse Hold. If we land this, then they have no Psychic Terrain for the rest of the game. And I'll just double up into Mouse Hold, but I don't think our Chaladon is getting an attack off. Are they doubling Weavile? I think Weavile will be faster than Mouse Hold, though. Oh, we stole the Blaziken's Clear Amulet. That's funny. Of course, I don't have Intimidate anyway, but... You know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to switch to Sinistcha here. No, hold on. Here's... Okay, so... I think I have to switch the Pelipper slot out to Sinistcha. Why? Because I think they can just KO Pelipper with Population Bomb, and I need to do I need to do Pelipper damage. I need Pelipper to do damage for the rest of the game. Oh, man. I think they're going to KO Weavile before it can finish Mouse Hold off, but if I'm wrong, that might kind of be the key to winning this one. No, they do KO Weavile. Sinistcha will at least not be hurt by the Population Bomb, which I think does just KO Pelipper. I think I have to protect Pelipper here. Sinistcha hopefully takes a hit from Blaziken. With the rain up, that might well be the case. And I guess oh, I can click Rage Powder, unless it's Safety Goggles Mouse Hold. But we're just gonna hope that it isn't. Thunder Punch. Okay, so they were going for Pelipper with the Blaziken. Thunder Punch, Population Bomb. Good turn there. KO the Blaziken. The opponent doesn't accomplish much. The Mouse Hold, I don't think, can do damage outside of Population Bomb. So it's in a very bad position against the Rage Powder from Sinistcha. So I think I have figured this one out in the end. Last Pokemon is Armarouge. If it is Weak Armor, Weakness Policy, we're not going to give them the chance to activate it. We're just going to Weather... Yeah, I think Weather Ball's fine, because if they Terra out of their Fire weakness, then we won't activate their Weakness Policy for them. So either way, I think it works. Rage Powder, so that they're never landing a Population Bomb into Pelipper. Actually, I haven't used my Terra yet. Let's just go for the Stellar Terra here. I don't see any reason not to. Oh, they protect the Mouse Hold. That's very good. Well, I guess it nets out to the same thing as Population Bomb. They aren't accomplishing anything either way. And we can just Rage Powder and KO the Pelipper with Stellar Boosted Hurricane here. Nice! So we figured that one out in the end, in the face of Mouse Hold's pressure. Of course, a lot of Mouse Hold run Terra Grass or Safety Goggles, so that wasn't a sure thing, but it worked out in the end. Okay. Ugh. Sand Team. These are tricky to deal with right now. On the other hand, Annihilate kind of beats all these Pokemon, except maybe Komodo. But yeah, I do like trying to set Annihilate up here. I could lead, like, Azumarill Annihilate, use Azumarill for early offensive pressure. I don't even need to try to set up the Belly Drum, I can just, like, attack stuff, I think. If they bring a Moongus, Annihilate is at least immune to the Spore, and it can heal itself with Drain Punches into pick your target. But I'll bring Sinistcha as well, and I kind of like our Chaladon, actually. I don't know that I need Rain here. Let's just bring our Chaladon for that little bit of tanky backup plan. Okay, we see Corviknight Komodo lead. I feel like that's the hardest for me to lead they could have had for me to figure out. But I'm just going to play rough Komodo. If we force their Terra, I don't think that's the worst thing, and go for a bulk up. Okay, it's Terra Ghost Komodo. Does a lot of damage to Annihilate, so that might be a problem for my game plan, but it is at least... It has turned off its weaknesses to this play rough, but it still takes decent damage. Unfortunately, it's certainly not in Aqua Jet range. Let's see if we can remove it here. They do just go for the Terra Blast into Annihilate again. Azumarill is going to take that Brave Bird. And KO Komodo. But the Brave Bird Corviknight is a problem when Annihilate is this low, and they can start getting sand damage if they brought Tyranitar. We see Excadrill. That might imply Tyranitar is coming in the back. I'm just going to double target Excadrill with Knockoff and Drain Punch. And if they do switch Corviknight out to Tyranitar, although I don't know why they would, Corviknight's pretty well positioned here. It's actually going to be hard for me to deal with because I didn't bring Rain to activate our Chaladon's one-turn Electro Shot. Oh, that Aqua Jet does so much. And Annihilate just barely taking the Iron Head and KOing the Excadrill. So Annihilate... Oh, Azumarill surviving too. Annihilate has put in work this game, even if I didn't quite get it going the way I wanted. Last Pokemon is Tyranitar. I am a little annoyed with myself for not bringing Rain at this point. We'll Aqua Jet, because the Corviknight will KO Azumarill before I can get a play rough. And let's see if we can get a Drain Punch into Tyranitar. If not, I might lose, but... Well, I do still have our Chaladon in the back with Body Press available. Good Aqua Jet damage. We do finish off the Tyranitar. Bit of recovery for Annihilate. Actually, it would have been more recovery if I hadn't done the Aqua Jet damage. But Corviknight will take the Brave Bird recoil. It's at 1/3 of its HP. It is a tricky position now. But they've used their Terra already, so I was going to say I can just go for the 2-turn Electro Shot, and it should work out. But perhaps thinking the same thing, the opponent forfeits. And we keep going. Huh. Dondozo, but no Tatsugiri, so that's nice. We don't have to deal with that stuff. This looks kind of... I mean, some of this looks like the team that won the Lille Regional, from which I ripped off this team. But then they have the Dondozo and the Baxcalibur. Well, it's more sand stuff. I once again kind of like Annihilate. The Indeedee admittedly makes it a little bit harder for Annihilate. And perhaps motivates me to lead Weavile instead of Azumarill next to Annihilate. Go for a knockoff into the Indeedee, remove a Choice Scarf and whatnot. Might be Terra Psychic like it was on the team that won the regional. And then bring our Chaladon again, and I don't hate Sinistcha to heal a bulky Pokemon, maybe redirect a close combat away from our Chaladon. I also don't hate Pelipper to give me the rain that I kind of missed having last game, although there's no Corviknight on this team. Let's bring Sinistcha. Okay, so we lead Weavile and Annihilate against Indeedee and Sneasler. Kind of the worst lead matchup for Annihilate. We'll just go right for the knockoff into Indeedee and I think protect. Not really eager to switch Annihilate out, but it might come to that next turn. There's the Terra Psychic. They just go right for close combat into Weavile, of course. Weavile will survive with the Focus Sash. Immune to the Expanding Force and knocks out Indeedee. Look at that. You love to see it. Too bad the Sneasler didn't have an item to pickpocket, huh? But Weavile, taking the hit from its cousin and doing its job anyway, quietly putting in work in the face of its more famous relative. We'll probably have to sack it here, though. But do I want to switch Sinister in? You know what? No, I think Sinister is best saved for when Annihilate has taken damage, so we'll sack Weavile here. We'll go for an Ice Spinner if they'll let us. I do not trust the side beat up into Annihilate anymore. And just try to get a bulk up. Okay, they KO Weavile. Excadrill is going to do what? Single target Earthquake. Ooh, okay. Don't love to see that. Sneasler has shown the Throat Chop, so Sinistcha can redirect an attack here, but then it probably gets KO'd. I can Terra Dark. That does make Sinistcha no longer resist ground and weak to the close combat, and I don't think there's any world where I'm KOing Sneasler this turn. I can Matcha Gotcha and just let Annihilate take the damage. Alright, yeah, I'm going to Matcha Gotcha and Drain Punch Excadrill. Sinister goes to sleep. Excadrill is knocked down to its Sash, so if I had gotten the Matcha Gotcha off, that would have been a good turn. It might be a good turn anyway. Annihilate is faster than Excadrill, unless they have Tyranitar in the back. They do have Tyranitar in the back. And I didn't bring Pelipper. Why didn't I bring Pelipper? Maybe there's a world where I can win this if Sinister wakes up here. Either way. Try to remove the Tyranitar. Okay, Annihilate is just going to get KO'd. Actually, if I'd gone for the Terra Fire with Annihilate there, I might have been able to win. But I don't think our Chaladon is going to stand up to all this pressure by itself. If I'd had Pelipper... Okay, I think there are multiple ways that I win this. I'm in a better position if Sinister doesn't go to sleep, but that's Dire Claw for you. Sneasler getting a little bit of revenge, not letting Weavile have too good a time. If I brought Pelipper, then I can make Excadrill slower than Annihilate again, and Annihilate probably just wins. So that's the biggest mistake, I think, not bringing Pelipper. Although, bringing it over our Chaladon in the end would have won the game. Don't necessarily know that at preview, but that's probably the answer to whom Pelipper could have replaced. And then I think there was another thing. Oh, if I'd gone for the Terra Fire on Annihilate, I think it would have taken the Iron Head and KO'd Tyranitar and gotten some healing there. And I could probably beat Excadrill. Actually, no, I don't think that works, because that Earthquake is just hitting too hard. So not bringing Pelipper there is the biggest thing. If I bring Pelipper, I think I win that game. And even without Pelipper, maybe if the Dire Claw doesn't put Sinister to sleep. Either way, using a team for the first time, figuring it out, can't complain too much. Sneasler does get the last laugh there, but I think Weavile put in a decent amount of work, and it was a lot of fun to use on this team. Between the offensive pressure that it put out, covering threats to its teammates, like how it KO'd the Indeedee there to create space for Annihilate. And, okay, the side beat-up was a bit of a double-edged sword, but it is always a fun tech. Weavile may be a little too strong a user of it. But overall, yeah, I mean, Weavile definitely showed why it was able to make Day 2 at Lille, how it can put in some work in this format. It's not going to be playing on the same level as its little brother, Sneasler, and that's okay, but don't sleep too much on Weavile. It's a fun Pokemon, and it might just surprise you if you run into it.